Heyo, River! Welcome back, ghouls and goblins. I hope you're having an absolute magical day, and thank you so much for taking the time to support the channel. We have a brand new Mythic rank deck, and typically, not bragging about the win rate so much, but this one's got 75%. We're killing it! This is Bant Enchantments. We're going to break down the deck list to talk about the strategies, the synergies, showcasing this within the Mythic gameplay footage against the best players and the best decks in the world, wrapping up with our final thoughts, deck review, and of course, our pack opening. So make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's take a look at the deck. Okily dokily, squawk squawk, baby. It's all about Raven's Warning. This is kind of the card I'm going back to. It rotates out in September because, call time. But for now, it actually gives us access to our sideboard, which is only obtainable through two things. One being Wish, which I don't like at all. The other here, Raven's Warning, in the game right now, available in Standard, and I love it. So, first off, create a 1/1 blue bird creature token with flying. You gain 2 life. So getting a body, getting some life, decent. Next up, whenever one or more creatures you control with flying deal combat damage to a player this turn, look at that player's hand. Additional information. You know what's coming down the pipeline next. And draw a card. More value. Sign me up. And then finally, you may put a card you own from outside the game on the top of your library. And this is very powerful as well. Basically engineering your draw from among 7 different cards, which we have access to in our sideboard. We'll talk about that to wrap up the deck. Before we get there, though, well, we're flirting with Satsuki as well, the Living Lore for 2. It's a 1/3. We can tap it to put a lore counter on each saga you control, activating this at sorcery speed, right? So it's a saga-based deck with the Living Lore. Whenever it dies, we get to choose up to 1. Returning target saga enchantment, saga or enchantment, I should say, to our hand. We like this. There's a couple different ways that we can go about this. There's XL on tokens. We bring the XL, like the circle, or the it's the circle of confinement, or the borrowed time, for exiling tokens. Then we can bounce that card back to our hand and re-exile something. So good. Just the saga replayability is very good here again. We're going to talk about that through the inventive iteration, and Yugen defends the temple and the restoration of Nganjo. The creatures, you can bounce back and then replay them as the saga, getting that additional value through those 3 triggers as they transform again. It's woof, and we can power through them through the Living Lore as well, doubling them. Yeah, you'll see. And then, we can also return one from our graveyard to our hand when she dies if we don't want to bounce something, which is incredible. So there's a lot of synergy here. Moving away from that, first and foremost, we're reducing all of the mana value enchantments by 1. 2/2 lifelink enchantments cost 1 less to cast, right? Within the Jukai Naturalist, fantastic. We have the Kami of Transience for 2. It's a 2/2 with trample. Whenever an enchantment is played, or we cast one, I should say, put a +1/+1 counter on Kami. If it is in the grave and an enchantment leaves your battlefield to the grave this turn, you get to actually bring it back into your hand, which is ridiculous for those grindy matches, right? So it gets bigger, it gets badder, it has trample, and it comes back. We love it. So these, are really helpful while you're playing your enchantments early game. Now we can talk about some of those sagas. We already talked about the Raven's Warning. Yugen defends the temple. When it enters, create a 1/1 that can tap to add green to our pool. Love it. Then put +1/+1 counters on up to 2 creatures that we control. Love it. And then finally, we get to exile it, transforming it into the Remnant of the Rising Star. It's going to be a 2/2 with flying, and whenever a creature enters the battlefield under our control, we may pay X. When we do, put that many +1/+1 counters on that creature. All right, so we have a way to spend all of our mana all of the time, which is cool. This will also work on tokens as they enter play. The Raven's Warning, those 1/1 Ravens can be fatties if it's late game, which is very interesting. And then furthermore, as long as we control 5 or more modified creatures, the Rising Star is going to get +5, and trample as well, which is 7/7 flying with trample. Okay, HCG, sure. The Restoration of Nganjo for 3. When it enters play, grab a plains from your library into hand, then shuffle. Love it. Then we get to discard a card if we do return a card with mana value 2 or less into the battlefield. The Living Lore, back again. Oh no. That is dirty, dirty, dirty. Of course, we can ramp here as well if we want, or grab a naturalist. You know, it's up to you. Potentially even the Circle of Confinement. You know what I mean? It's any 2-drop will do. And then finally, transform it. It's a 3/4 with Vigilance. And whenever it attacks or blocks, create a 1/1 Spirit. These spirits are nice, not only because the Geistlight Snare, right? 1 less to cast if we control an enchantment, 1 less to cast if we control a spirit. We can counter spell for 1 unless they pay 3. Sign me up. And then, of course, that will also help the Hollowed Haunting. Whenever you cast an enchantment, create a spirit token. Its power and toughness are equal to the number of spirits you control. So the more spirits we can have in play, the better. And of course, Hollowed Haunting is one of our core cards here. But while we're on the Saga note, the Inventive iteration of this is really fun for me. When it enters play, return target creature or planeswalker to its owner's hand. This is nice tempo. Return target artifact from your graveyard to your hand if you can't draw a card. So this is acting as a draw for us because we don't have artifacts. I'm okay with that. I just love the draw. So you're bouncing something of theirs, you're drawing a card, and then finally Exile Transform. It's 3/3 with flying. And whenever you cast a spell, your opponents can't cast spells with the same mana value as the spell that you've cast this turn, right? So we've got 2s, we've got 3s, and we've got 4s. We can basically, we even potentially have 5s, but I doubt that we'll be casting the Doomscar there at that point. Just to lock our opponent out, and you'd be surprised how hindering that this actually is to their overall game plan most times. Those are the Sagas. They can be pushed through at an expedited rate, again, through the Living Lore. They can turn into creatures and then be bounced back to your hand to be replayed as Sagas. Also with the Living Lore, which is crazy. It's crazy. You'll see. You'll see. And then the removal of the deck, right? We've got Doomscar, destroying all creatures, Foretell for 3, casting organically for 5, sorcery speed. We're just going to clean up. We've got Borrowed Time, exile target non-land permanent until it leaves the battlefield. Fantastic. And then the Circle, exiling creature that an opponent controls with mana value 3 or less until it leaves the battlefield. If it was a vampire, gain 2 life, and that's a-okay by me. Or if they play a vampire with the same name, I should say. RTFC, bro. RTFC. We've got the lands. We've got the Hall to smash. We have Soaring City to bounce. Who Endures to destroy. Consistent with the dual lands, the Triome, and then the Pathways, of course. Now we talk about the sideboard. Now we access again the sideboard through the 3rd trigger of Raven's Warning. Test of Talents. The one card that can potentially beat us is Farewell. It deals with our grave, it deals with our enchantments, it deals with our creatures. Stop it. We do have the Geistlight Snare to counter that. We can also Test of Talents if we identify it as a problem. An additional Borrowed Time, the Reality Architect, which is quite nice. For 3 mana, it's a 2/3. And whenever 1 or more non-creature permanents are returned to your hand, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. The Living Lore can return a Saga or an enchantment, to your hand, right? That's going to trigger you a draw. Fantastic. We can also pay 1+X to return a land we control to its owner's hand, then return a target artifact or enchantment card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to your battlefield. Woof. At sorcery speed. So this is an additional way to be replaying things from your grave if they happen to be dealt with, and the things that we're replaying hold massive value. An additional Doomscar, our own Farewell as our removal elements. Brilliant Restoration, if things get too crazy with the graveyard, right? Let's bring all those back just for fun, and then an additional land in case we're bricking. Easy peasy lemon squeezies. That's the deck. I hope you guys enjoyed. We're going to get into our Mythic gameplay footage here. Winning the majority of our matches, but actually dropping rank, which is fairly interesting to watch in real time. Again, watch to the end of the video. We've got deck review and a pack opening. Let's go. Nice land and a actually pretty decent hand. So we're going to try this out. Charger's pretty quick though. We might just toss this as a blocker right away. Second Charger. Woof. We have 2 of them as well, so, to lose one's not the end of the world. We gain life with the Raven's Warning. There's the removal. Okay. We're hit for 2 to 17. Let's try that again. More removal. Of course. Love to see it. They are down to 2 cards, though, so we just need to flex some life gain. We can get the Living Lore back to hand here. What? Why didn't that come to my hand? Did I accidentally decline that? Whoops. Still toss the planes, I guess. We gotta kill this, right? It's a good card. So, seat for 2. Suppose we could have played Raven's Warning, hey? I want to see what they play with that last card, though. I might just want to bounce it. No, nothing. So I'm okay with this. Good game. All right, we've got a really nice hand still. We're going to the sideboard, and it looks like they're out of juice. What rank am I, though? It usually pops up with what rank I am. That's crazy. Going first, I don't mind the hand. That looks like a pretty tasty treat. It's a tasty treat right here. Naturalist, Yugen. We have removal. We could even get kind of cheeky with doubling down. Already have the blue. Well, might need to be blue and white, so it's definitely Who Endures here. For the Naturalist. Okay. I think they're runes too. Or at least enchantments. We get hit with a... Okay. Nice! Okay. Beautiful. That's a nice top deck. Defense the Temple is active. That's a green source. We wouldn't mind a secondary white source, though, right? Or else we're just single casting one of these. Third land. Visitor's very good. Do they push onto it? Yeah, they do. They're going to take our Naturalist. It's a good play. There's that white source we want. Let's take the Visitor. It's still really good. Spirited Companion for the draw. It's acceptable. Okay, Rune of Might, not bad for another draw. Okay. This is really good for us here. It's a nice top deck on that Geistlight Snare. I'm going to pay 1. No attacks. Keeping up that blue source for our snare. Feeling pretty good about this. Right, they have to pay 3, so they can cast something for 2 here. That's okay. It's the draw. I think this is an easy block with the Raven if they do attack. Born to Drive. Absolutely not. Okay. So check this out. This is really quite interesting. Raven's Warning out. Take action. A2. And then we lore counter again. We get to put Outside the Game to the top of our deck and then immediately draw it. We're going to take the Architect of Reality. And then we get in for 4. Draw. Look at their hand. Michiko. Oh no. We need to be careful about Michiko Weaver situation here. We could get into trouble. We do need to be careful about that. Here's the Weaver, and then the Ruin. On the other companion, they take a draw. Raven is still in blocking form here. Commune with Spirits, okay. They get a land, whatever. These are, yeah, these are good blocks. Well, one of them is. Land, it's cheating. It's like a borrowed time. Don't mind that, do we? Land out, Kami out. Decline. Probably decline this too. Big hit. I'd rather hit for 2 than push the Architect up by 1, I think. They have 1 green mana. It's not a Who Are Endures because none of these are legendary. Well, I mean, it could be, but they're not casting it. Okay, we're going to end turn here. Bring back Raven's Warning with the Death of the Living Lore. Land out. Another Weaver. That's good with the Michiko on top. Wow. And then they double it. Do we just die here? I mean, I guess we've seen that coming. Gets plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus 12. Wow. We have Exile on top, remember, right? I'm gonna take it. Get that trample to the grave. No attacks and turn. Good luck on your top deck. There's no trample yet. There could be, and that would be so bad. That would be brutal. Could we have exiled their blocker and hit for lethal? No. I wasn't even thinking of that. I was just thinking of, wow, we have to get rid of the trample. No full swing back because we're playing defensively. I mean, so the thing is, if they want to copy these, they've got to tap out. We'll have to review the footage. Tunnel vision is a real thing in Magic, and you're best to mitigate it as much as possible. And reviewing your footage is a good way to do this. Looking at alternative playlines as opposed to the one that you took within your tunnel vision. So unless they have trample here, and I'm thinking that we have so many blockers that we should be able to defend against it if they do have it. Right? We can easily mitigate a lot of this. Okay, no trample though. That's totally fine with me. I think we may have lethal here. 2, 4, 6, yeah. Math! Math! Oh my god. It's a cool deck though, right? We're doing alright with it as well, which is very nice to see here. Winning games, right? We've won 2 games in a row, but my rank is dropping. Alright? Nice. Nice, 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 nice. Alright, let's try not to tunnel vision ourselves. They go first. I think we should mulligan this. There's no 1-drop, there's no 2-drop. I'm going to throw the planes, and the planes can be grabbed with the restoration. You definitely want that planes for the Doomscar, right? Because this looks like an aggro deck. Which is scurry, Doogie. Grab the life. They might just burn it with a spell and we don't get life gain, but we still have to try. And we need to drop this for 2. No, 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 no. This is bad. That is not a land. Not a land. Alright, we're in trouble. Should have kept the first hand. Okay, okay. I feel like I've seen this before. That's a big hit. Still not a land. Oh, Lord. Wow. We're just dead. Nice. She's a brick house. Oakley dokily. Oligonally. Keep 6. Toss Ravens warning. Just let's slow and steady it. They obviously have something they can play there. Are they creatures? Ghoulish Procession. Interesting. Here comes a Living Lore. An interesting card that we don't see played much. That is just a ton of fun. And that has a good amount of value in it. Oh, back to our hand. Taking the Skrizai to the top. We exile this. You mine. We should probably exile the Session when we get the chance. With the Banishing Light. Hey, they could wreck our circle too, right? Like, it's not imperviable. And that is what happens. Interesting. Does that change anything? I feel like that's a weird play. Okay. Get the 2/2 back. Haunting is out. Doomscars are ready. Hit for 4 to 14. Another 2/2. I'm going to pop out a Living Lore, which I've seen. And then foretell the Scarar. Instant speed removal. Maybe they just bounce it. Just a bounce. This is okay. Not the end of the world. For another 4 to 10. I mean, it certainly is unpleasant. But, I guess the second Doomscar helps a lot to back up the additional removal as well. I'm just gonna go to Exile Town, maybe. And then we have blockers, because like they're gonna have a fish that can hit. They're gonna have a 2/2 that can hit as well, which is like a little bit. You know what I mean? So just get out of here. Just get out of here, huh? Funny, because we have another. Okay. I mean, that's fine. Do they do it again? Wow. Look at this free-to-play deck, everyone. We're down to 8. Good for them. Fairly impressive. Fairly impressive. But I get some enchantments, Doogie. We're still okay. They're not yet at their... Oh, that's good. This is really good too, though, right? Real good. Got the blocker on the 2/2 finally. We can block Jadir as well. 2 cards in hand though, so there may be more interaction. That comes out tapped. Oops. That just comes back, that's fine. Living Lore much? Crazy. Double Spirits. This should be enough. Let's hit for 5. I mean, we're down to 8. We should be careful. Maybe let's toss this into Foretell as well. Three cards in hand. I'm down to 2. And they're all the same legendary. Moon Snizare bounces one of our tokens, which is very good. We're going to block this. It doesn't come back this time, thankfully. It's a lot of land. I'm going to swing for 4. Keep applying pressure. Here's the block. They get a 2/2. Basically replaces itself. Ending our turn here. Hopefully they don't get another black source. You know, that's fairly frustrating. We would double block the Hive just to deal with it once and for all, right? Third, bind the monsters. That's 4 damage to the Chopskers, though. That's a lot. And we still are just blocking this. They should be saving up those decay zombies if they can. Beef. I don't really want to give them... We'll use it to kill the lair instead of the procession. Interesting. Thankfully, it's not... This is another... Oops, they need a secondary black source to get away with that. And that gives us lethal, right? Just to push up the spirit. There's probably some funny business here, right? There's probably another Fading Hope or something. No, it doesn't look like it. Okay. Nice. That's a 75% win rate. Through 4 matches. Definitely not bad. Again, we're winning games, but dropping rank. Nice. Holy Toledo's. Squawk, squawk. I think we're missing a W. Squawk, squawk. Oh, it's been a long day. Anywho, I hope you enjoyed. I know I certainly had a blast. What do you like about the deck? How would you make it even more competitive than it already is? Let me know down below in the comments. Any ideas for the sideboard as well, because that could get pretty cheeky. Also, but until then, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's take a look at the pack. What you got in here, Willis? What have you got in the pack skis, Yazki? Get rid of that, huh? Ooh. Ooh. If only we got so lucky to have it actually in our hand. The Dragon. With the Forista. We get a Cloak of the Bat in every single pack, I swear. Trickster. Clockwork Fox. Bronze Walrus. I absolutely love that. That's fantastic. The Blessed Hippogriff. Pegasus Guardian. I really like that Adventure's back. Warband. So expensive. Geode Golem. We've got a Meteor Golem. Oh, that's nice. That's tasty. And then, oh, wow. Okay, we're going to get into this. Grixis, Zelvor, Alteral Exile. Okay. For 4 mana, it's a 4/2 with haste. It's a warrior as well. You can pay 2, tap it. When you next cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets a single opponent or single permanent an opponent controls, this turn for each other opponent, choose that player or a permanent they control, copy that spell, and copy targets of the chosen player's permanent. What? Okay. I'm gonna have to retake this in. A 4/2 with haste, pay 2, because I'm reading it backwards. It's quite a talent of mine. Pay 2, tap it. Whenever you cast your next instant or sorcery spell that targets a single opponent or single permanent an opponent controls, this turn, for each other opponent, choose that player or a permanent they control, copy that spell, and the copy targets the chosen player or permanent. And the copy targets the chosen player or permanent. Fantastic. Too bad it doesn't have flash. You know what I mean? Could you imagine if that had flash? That would be so sick. But maybe there's a way we can give it flash. So I quite enjoy that. That's pretty interesting. We've got an inspiring leader, holographic friend of the forest, wolf. We did not see this yet. Tokens you control? Yeah, we did. This is a background elf. I think we actually just got one of these, in all honesty. I don't know if it was holographic, though, so this could be an upgrade. It's weird that we get 2 of them. And then the Kindred Discovery for 5, an enchantment. As it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Whenever a creature you control of the chosen type enters the battlefield or attacks, draw a card. That's not that bad. And then a holographic Avenging Hunter with our token. All right, we got a couple good pulls there, right? 3 rares, one of them being a holographic alt art as well, which is pretty cool. So nice pull. And if you guys want to win some packs and even potentially some decks, we have the event on July 5th. Maybe you've missed it. Maybe it's not out yet. I'm not sure. These are pre-produced, you know? Anyways, we've got more events coming up after that, and potentially even a Commander tournament that I've been flirting with. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to help support the channel in all of these endeavors. Have an absolute magical day. Can't wait to see you in the next. Take care.